Hi, my name is Bryan, and I will be talking about my lesson plan for Year 7 Mathematics. So for content, this lesson addresses the Australian curriculum content descriptor AC9M 7N02 for Year 7 Mathematics, which requires students to represent natural numbers as products of prime numbers using exponent notation. In this lesson, the students will be taught to identify prime numbers and use them to factorize natural numbers. The learning intention is for students to understand prime numbers and apply prime factorization using exponent notation. The success criteria requires students to identify prime numbers, applying them to conduct factorization and recognizing powers of 2, 3, and 5. Student will enter the lesson with prior knowledge of multiplication and factors. This lesson considers EL learners who benefit from visual stimulus and practical application, as opposed to verbal explanation, and gifted learners who require extension level challenges to maintain engagement. This lesson supports AITSL Standard 1.5 through differentiated instruction for both EL learners and gifted students, and AITSL 3.5 through structured modeling and constant diagnosis strategies to maintain an effective classroom communication. As for teaching strategies, this lesson takes inspiration from the gradual release of responsibility framework with an explicit sequence of modeling, guided practice, and independent application. Such structure effectively breaks down the learning material to reduce the cognitive load that students are exposed to for a optimized learning outcome. This approach can create successful learning outcomes for students across all abilities and create an engaging learning environment. Firstly, the students will be first exposed to video stimulus supported by structured board explanation during the modeling phase. Such arrangement reflects a dual coding of learning style, where visual and verbal stimulus are applied to strengthen student understanding of mathematical relationships. These supports are particularly effective for EAL learners to develop mathematical vocabulary and conceptual understanding. Secondly, students will be exposed to constant example questions from diverse cultural backgrounds to address relevant cross-curriculum priorities. These strategies aim to engage the students by showing the practicality of course knowledge to create an engaging learning environment. Thirdly, the students are presented with a selected range of textbook resources during the independent practice phase by utilizing a multi-tier learning scheme to address the diverse needs and abilities of the students. This process also implements contracted learning by delegating the freedom to participate in textbook exercises to the students. This will effectively engage the students and encourage learning. Furthermore, occasional engagement and checking in on students will be applied to timely monitor the conditions of the students. This allows the teacher to address their needs promptly to create a supportive and engaging learning environment. Explicit teaching is a particularly effective approach as novice learners benefit from guided demonstrations before independent application, as per the cognitive load theory. The application of ICT is also a crucial foundation to this lesson plan to rapidly and effectively shape student understanding. This is, this is achieved through utilizing instructional videos and simple presentation slides that visually represent exponent notations and prime factorization. These approaches strengthen the learning outcome of EL students by reducing their reliance on exclusive verbal-reliant learning models and create a structured multimodal learning approach. Although direct parent and community involvement is not featured within this lesson, opportunities for extended learnings exist through home-based reinforcement activities such as practicing factorization tasks and discussing problem-solving strategies with family members. This encourages students to explain their mathematical reasoning outside of classroom, supports consolidation of understanding, and, and furthermore, maintaining communication with parents through school learning platforms is also crucial as it supports the awareness of lesson content and help families to reinforce key mathematical skills at home. An area for my future professional development is strengthening the design of extension pathways for advanced learners so that differentiation can continue across longer. learning sequences beyond a single lesson. Next, onto the differentiation strategies. Differentiation strategies within this lesson are implemented to support both EAL and gifted learners via adjustments to instructional representation, task complexity, and opportunities for extension. EAL learners are supported through the extensive use of videos and concise step by step explanations that reduces reliance on complex mathematical language. These supports align with universal design for learning principles, which emphasizes multiple modes of representation to ensure equitable access to new concepts. Alternatively, the gifted learners are provided with extension level textbook questions and additional resources once they have demonstrated mastery of prime factorization. This aligns with Tomlinson's differentiated instruction path framework, which recommends adjusting task complexity to match learning readiness and maintain engagement for advanced students. Aside from the aforementioned strategies, the following strategies are also implemented to support student engagement and process. Occasional peer discussion and exercises are incorporated to support students in verbalizing their reasoning when conducting prime factorization. This is consistent with Vygotsky's theory of cognitive development that learning is strengthened through collaborative interaction. Peer learning is also implemented through progress through appropriately challenging tasks based on their students' readiness level. This aligns with Thompson's differentiated instruction framework by ensuring learners engage with materials at an appropriate level of complexity to, to engage the learners and to create a supportive learning environment that sets the student up for success. Furthermore, formative assessment strategies are embedded throughout the lessons to support continuous monitoring of students' understanding while establishing a superb classroom communication for all students. At the beginning of the lesson, diagnostic questioning is used to activate prior knowledge of factors and identify any misconception about prime numbers. This activation of existing knowledge ensures readiness for prime factorization. During model instruction, simple questions are used to confirm student understanding of prime numbers and identifying the factors of a composite number. This provides the students an early understanding of conceptual understanding before students proceed with guided practice. During guided practices, formative assessment occur when teacher observation while students construct factor trees. Some questions are also asked to inspect student understanding during this phase. This allows the teacher to provide feedback for an early diagnosis of misconception during early skills development. Further formative assessment occurs during the independent practice stage, where students apply prime factorization strategies effectively while the teacher circulates around the classroom to monitor progress, respond to questions, and provide timely feedback where needed. This supports ongoing checking of student understanding and allows instruction to be adjusted to address misconceptions as they arise. At the conclusion of the lesson, a short essay check activity assesses whether students can independently apply prime factorization to a new number. Essay checks align with assessment for learning approaches as described by Black and William, as they provide immediately evidence for student understanding and inform the planning of subsequent instructions. Together, these learning styles ensure that assessment is integrated throughout the lessons for the teacher to provide timely feedback and continuously monitoring of student learning outcomes. Overall, the lesson plan aims to create a supportive classroom learning environment for the students across a range of academic capabilities through clear classroom communication and structured instructional sequencing. This lesson follows an explicit teaching process moving from introduction to guided practice, independent practice, and a short exit check. This structure is supported by various approaches to accommodate students requiring differentiation, including EL learners and gifted students. These strategies in combination help maintain an inclusive learning environment where all students are supported in their journey towards success criteria.